Hello, this is Reginald. I want to just touch real quick on faith. What is faith? Faith is believing in something that you don't see at the present time, but believing in it anyway. All of us, believe it or not, have a measure of faith. You know, when I buy a ticket for an airliner and I plan on going on a trip, let's say from here to New York, and I'm going to catch a plane, that is, I purchase the ticket, I arrive at the terminal, and I get on the plane. I have a reasonable amount of faith that the plane is going to take off and it's going to land in my destination without incident, that it's not going to crash. That's faith. I have a reasonable amount of faith in that pilot that he's not going to crash the plane. Also, another example, when I go to a restaurant and I order an appetizer and maybe an entree and a drink, and I sit down. Once my meal comes and I begin to eat my meal, I have a measure of faith that the food is not going to make me sick or even kill me, because I don't know the chef, I don't know the management, and I may not know the organization per se, and it might be my very first time ever coming to that establishment. I don't know what the ingredients in the food is, but that is a measure of faith being used again. We all do this every single day of our lives. We have a measure of faith. When you work 20 or 30 or 40 hours on a job, in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, you expect a paycheck. You're looking forward to it. You have a measure of faith. I believe that after I have done a certain thing, that this is the result that's going to come back to me. That is still faith. When a woman is pregnant and she's in her ninth month and she's at the delivery room, she expects a baby to emerge from her and the baby be healthy and strong and vibrant and alive. A measure of faith. She believes in that doctor and that medical staff. So she has that measure of faith. I have a measure of faith, or you have a measure of faith, that when you hear a burglar in your home and you dial 911 on your phone, that someone from the police department is going to come out, be dispatched, and come and protect you. We automatically believe this. That is a measure of faith. You see, we are already exercising faith. So why is it that if we're exercising faith and all of these things are a measure of faith, a certain amount in other words, why do we find it difficult in more trying times? I lose my job, so I give up. Have faith. And many people will respond and say, that's easier said than done. Well, we have to consider the source when they respond like that. But you can have faith. Don't forget that faith is something that you don't see, but you visualize it as becoming a reality. In the scriptures in the book of Hebrews, it says, faith without works is dead. You have to have faith, and you have to apply some effort or some work behind it for it to become a reality. Just saying I believe is not enough. The book of Hebrews also says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. One more time. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for. Excuse me. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. How can you have evidence and you don't see it? It is because faith is something that's spiritual. It is not something that is carnal. Carnal means fleshly. You see, most people look with their natural eye and then they determine their own realities based on that. But when we talk about faith, faith is something that emanates from a higher being, a higher purpose. It's God, the creator, Yahweh. That is what faith operates on. It operates in a spiritual realm, if you will. And for it to work, we must work it. So let's say, for example, I say, I want to open a restaurant. I might get some rebuttals to that. Some people might say, well, you can never do it. It will never happen. It's too hard. It's going to cost too much money. You see, that's part of life. You're supposed to have adversity. You're supposed to have naysayers. You're supposed to have those that are negative, those people who are cynical. But that doesn't have to be you. Okay? So let's keep it in perspective. I still say I want to open a restaurant, regardless of what's being said around me. So I decide that I want the restaurant. The first thing I did was make a decision. The decision came after the thought. Once I make the decision, then comes the action. Now, once I set in motion all of the things that's necessary for me to embark on this journey, that is my faith being realized. Follow me? So the first thing is the thought. Hey, I want to open a restaurant. But so does another 100,000 people. But that is not a reality to any of us until someone starts heading towards that objective. You don't just say, I want a restaurant, and you pray to the creator. You say, God, I want a restaurant. And he just says, poof, there it is. The Almighty requires something of us. And he requires us to do something. He requires action. And then he does the rest. We have it twisted around. We think that if we ask God for something, that he just snaps his fingers and poof, it's there. It doesn't work that way. This is a misconception. This is a misunderstanding and misinterpretation of the scripture. You have it wrong. You are supposed to be doing something. Now, if you laying on your backside, sitting on your butt, if you will, and you don't have a job, and you say, boy, I'm going to get me a job. I need a job to pay these bills. I need a job to buy things for my children. I need a job to do this or that. But you don't get up and look for a job. You don't make phone calls. You don't look at the paper. You don't go on the internet, online, and try to find employment. And then you say, well, God's going to make a way. You really have deceived yourself. The Creator does not work that way. When you say you want a job and he sees your effort, then he will guide you to the job that is fit for you. It's not the opposite. It's not do nothing and receive something. It doesn't work that way with the Creator. It doesn't work that way in society. So how is it that you think that you should receive something for doing nothing? It's like people who are on government assistance. And I'm not bashing them. There are people who have been on government assistance and who currently are, who need it. I have been on government assistance in my early young adult life. I'm not on it now. I didn't need it perpetually. But there are some who use government assistance as a lifestyle. And they pass it down from generation to generation and to generation. That's not good. It was never intended for that. That's a trap. It was intended to help you get on your feet so that you can begin to maintain your own life afterwards. It was not intended for you to be on it perpetually for the rest of your life and then pass that on to your children. And then your children be on it perpetually for the rest of their lives. And then generational to the next generation, to the next generation. You know what I'm saying. It was never intended for that. But there are many people that abuse it. And you know what? They lack self-esteem. They lack work ethic. They lack confidence. They lack self-respect. They lack integrity. And they have an attitude of lassitude. That is an attitude that I don't want to do anything, but I want everything. They're the ones who cry the loudest when they run out of money. When their benefits are cut, they cry the loudest, but they'll never get out there and try to do anything to make their situations better. I didn't really mean to go there, but I did. My original premise was faith, cause and effect. If you have faith, you can do anything that you want to do virtually. Nothing can be withheld from you. But you got to start somewhere. Faith starts with the thought. What it is that you want, what it is that you want to achieve, what it is that you want to see come to reality in your life. And that's the thought first. And after that, you begin to head towards that goal, that aspiration, that dream. There's no such thing as an American dream. There's your dream, whatever your dream is. You want to be an entrepreneur, whatever the vocation is, whatever the field is, whatever you choose, you can be that. You can be that thing today. The thought first, okay? This is what I want to be. Then start taking the steps toward it. Here, take the steps toward that direction. Start finding out how you can start. Start doing research on it and stop letting other people deter you from your dreams and from your plans. Stop letting other people influence your own dreams and what is in your heart to do. And do it. We've heard the old Nike cliche or adage or tagline, just do it. Nike didn't create that, but they capitalized on that. They have profited on that. Just do it. So I'm telling you today, just do it. If you want something, just do it. But we sit back. I'm afraid to fail, so I won't take a step at all. But I'm encouraging you today that if you take that first step, however uncomfortable it might be, however much afraid you might be, once you've done it, you say, ooh, it was touch and go there for a moment, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was that way when I started my first business. I didn't have a loan. I didn't have a small businessman's loan. I didn't have any capital stored away anywhere. I didn't get a loan from the bank. I didn't have a grant. I didn't have anyone assist me. I started with zero. But I did it. And let me tell you, once I stepped out that first time, when I had my first business, my first store, my first martial arts school, you couldn't tell me anything after that. Now, I was still afraid, but that entrepreneur spirit inside me propelled me forward because it's something you're born with. When you say that there's something that you really want to do and it's a yearning inside you to say, I'm going to see this through. I'm not talking to the people who are exactly like I am. I'm talking to the people who still have the yearning, but there's that one little small something that's still holding you back. 99.9% of the time, what's holding you back is you. Yes, my brother, yes, my sister, it's you that's holding you back. Do today what you can do, and don't wait about tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. Now, tomorrow can be next week, it can be next month, it can be next year or 5 years from now. It's not promised to us. Do what's in your heart to do today. You can dream big, but don't be a dreamer only. Because a dreamer only never see anything come to pass. You never see it come to fruition. I had a dream one day that I would own my own business by the time I was 32 years old. And I did. Now, howbeit, I started when I was 12 years old selling greeting cards from a comic book ad. And I was an electrician apprentice when I was a teenager, and I was a carpenter's apprentice as a teenager. But when I actually had my own business, where I actually paid for product, paid my own overhead and my own rent, that responsibility fell on me of being an entrepreneur more greatly. And then I had a second store, and then I had a third store. But I never would have accomplished those feats in my life if I never took the first step. My brothers and my sisters, my friends out there, take the first step. If you need some help, I can help you with an answer. If you need some guidance, I can help you with some guidance. If there is, peradventure, something that I may not know, and you're inquisitive about something as it relates to entrepreneurship or business in general, or even specifics, I can get the answer for you. It's not that hard. But the hardest thing is to get you to take the first step. And the main reason, one of the main reasons, the key reasons that we never achieve greatness, that is because we never take the first step. Now, if you take the first step and you fall down, get back up. That's not the end. If you bump your head, some little nicks and bruises, a few failures, that's conditioning. That's all it is. That's part of the journey. Every successful entrepreneur and business mogul, business owner, corporation, every person that started any business that became anything suffered. Don't look at suffering as something on the line of someone stabbing you in the heart. Not that kind of suffering. It's emotional suffering. It's worry. It's concern that if this doesn't make it, I'm going to be in financial disarray. My family's not going to be able to eat. No, you are going to be the person that makes it happen. You are going to be the person that makes your dream become a reality. That was all I had to say. Have faith, believe in the Creator, but put some feet on your faith. This is Brother Teacher, also known as Reginald Strauss Sr. I love you, God love you. Take those words into consideration. Have a great day. So long.